With one series in the books, I've got some thoughts on the New York Mets. Let's talk about it. And well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watt2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. If you're brand new, welcome aboard. Please like and subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate your time and your support. So, with the New York Mets having finished their opening series down in Miami at Lone Depot Park against the Marlins, I've got some thoughts on the first couple of games, what I'm seeing so far, and what I want to see going forward. So, hey, anytime you win a 4-game series on the road, you take 3 or 4 on the road, especially against a divisional opponent, you take it. You got to be happy with that. Now, I'm pretty pleased with the pitching, with what I've seen. Kodaisenga had a very rough first inning. You know, maybe it was working things out with him and Tommypham, the catcher. Maybe it was the baseball. Who knows what it was. Maybe it was his first time pitching in the United States in the major leagues. But, you know, he allowed 1 run, but in the situation he was in with the bases loaded and 1 out, it could have been a lot worse. But he came back, really settled in, pitched into the 6th inning, got 8 strikeouts, including quite a few with his ghost fork. I mean, he's really looking like he knows how to pitch. Even though he's a very physically gifted pitcher, Kodaisenga really strikes me as a very, very cerebral pitcher, and I really, really like that. I think he's going to fit into this rotation incredibly well, and this was a signing I was excited about when the Mets made it, and I'm really starting to think that it's going to pay off. Now, with the starting pitching, obviously it's a huge blow when you don't have Justin Verlander and Jose Quintana, who are going to be the 1 and 4 starters pretty much. Well, I mean, Scherzer and Verlander, you can interchange it either way. But, you know, 2 of their top starters, you know, are going to miss an unspecified amount of time. Quintana, I don't expect back until maybe August. Verlander, hard to say. But it's a good thing that the Mets still have David Peterson and Tylormegill. Both are very capable pitchers. The biggest issue really with both is their control. Now and then they can lose the plate, especially Peterson. That's when they get into trouble. But Peterson has shown an ability to get out of jams, and he was able to do that. I do like what I'm seeing from McGill, because even though he wasn't throwing 98, 99 miles an hour, he's worked on developing an additional breaking pitch. He now has 2 breaking pitches as opposed to just 1, and I think that's going to make him more of a pitcher as opposed to a thrower. So I think that could work very well for McGill. I was very impressed with the bullpen. You know, one thing with Buckshowalter, he knows how to use his bullpen. He used all 8 guys in the first series. In 13 2/3 innings, the Mets bullpen allowed just 1 run. That's a .66 ERA, the best in the National League. You know, Davidrobertson looks like he's sliding into Edwin Diaz's role quite nicely. He's got the nice combination of a cutter and a curveball. It works very well. I like this brooksraley a lot. He looks like that legitimate lefty that the Mets have been needing for a little while now. You know, for years it feels like we've been talking about Andrew Chafin, that he'd be a great fit. Lately, people have been talking about Zach Britton, that the Mets should sign Zach Britton. Well, if things continue to go the way that they are, you know, this bullpen could work out pretty well. Now the defense is something else I want to mention. Lindor and McNeil up the middle are such a good combination at shortstop and second base, and you see it even that much more now, because now that the shift has been banned, it really makes your infield defense have to do their job even better than they were doing it before. And Franciscolindor is now able to show off his range at shortstop. So I'm really liking that. Petealonso made some very good plays at first base. I mean, he just keeps getting better and better as a player, not just as a slugger, because I think people, when they think of Petealonso, all they think about is the power. But he can flat out play baseball. He is a good all-around player. And StarlingMarte, speaking of all-around players, how can I say that phrase and not think of StarlingMarte? I mean, his base running, his hitting, his throwing, his fielding, oh my gosh. They missed him so badly last September. You know, if Marte never got hurt, I guarantee the Mets would have won that division. They would have won the NL East, and who knows how the playoffs would have turned out. But as far as the offense goes, you know, they don't really have the power, you know, deep into the lineup that you would like. But Buck has a feel of knowing what to do when. I mean, there were people on Facebook absolutely going crazy, whining like little petulant babies when they saw Tommypham was going to be the leadoff hitter for Brandon Nimmo today. He said, I don't like Pham, he stinks, he should be cut, we should bring up Vientos. Well, when he hit a 433-foot home run, had multiple hits, I'd say Pham had a pretty freaking good game. You know, Omarnarvaez has had some RBIs. He's proven to be a pretty productive catcher, both offensively and defensively. I mean, the one problem they've really had is Eduardo Escobar. You know, now, Escobar's a great clubhouse guy. You know, he is a good player. He's off to a horrible start. I mean, 1 for 16 with 7 strikeouts is not going to fly. But after 4 games, you know, you can't give up on a player that quickly. The one thing, though, is you have a prospect who is looking fantastic down in Syracuse right now, named Brett Beatty, who I felt should have been, you know, starting from the beginning. And if Escobar becomes, you know, a bat off the bench, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, Escobar's only got 1 year left on his contract. If he goes to the bench and makes the Mets step that much better, then hey, I'm all for it. There's nothing to complain about there. So now the Mets are off to Milwaukee for a 3-game series before they come home for their opening series. Let's see what happens when they head to, you know, when they face a team that has been, you know, a perennial playoff team for a little while. I don't love their lineup, but they did just take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs in Wrigley Field. Should be very interesting to see what happens. Well, those are my thoughts early on the Mets season. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.